Howdy do y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah.veda if you already know, and if you do know, then groovy. Thanks for coming back, appreciate you. Awesome. So, a couple weeks ago, or I guess about 4 weeks now, I wanted to continue this series. I really like making these types of videos. I did one about Drake Bell and how I didn't know he was into rockabilly, and it talked about his whole musical career and stuff like that. So I will leave that linked somewhere around here, up here in the description. And I also have one about Imelda May and what happened to her and how come she's not rockabilly anymore. So anyway, today this is gonna be a little more a lot more fun. Well, and sad in a way. But Lemmy Kilmister, yes, of Motorhead, if for those of you that do not know, he passed away in 2015. But he had a side group that was called the Head Cat. So, and this consisted of him, obviously being the vocals, Slim Jim Phantom of the Stray Cats, and also Danny B. Harvey. So yeah, and this band has been around since 1999. It is, like I said, it is their side rockabilly group. And now it is, since Lemmy has passed away, they have a new singer now, which is Morbid Angel's singer, which would be Dave Vincent. So, yeah. But yeah, so like the other one, I wanted to read an interview, because, I mean, this is kind of obvious that Lemmy was pretty, pretty heavily influenced by rockabilly, early 1950s and 60s rock and roll and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into that for those of you that did not know. Yes, so so that's what we're gonna do. And of course, so this is an older interview, obviously, but excuse me, y'all know I'm bad at talking out loud, but we're gonna do it anyway. So I mean, yeah, we talked about who was in the band and everything. So, but yeah, Lemmy had sat down with Music Reader, and he discussed about playing rockabilly gyms and, storming the stages, like how it compares, with Motorhead. And basically he's talking about how this is very, very different. Motorhead's more, well, clearly a lot more, faster, like it is metal, hello. But like the Head Cat was a lot more laid back and wasn't really like the bigger crowds and stuff like that like Motorhead received. So, not that people didn't like it, but y'all know what I mean. So anyway, they pretty much formed this group because they were working on Elvis tribute band. That's what they were trying to do. So, and he says, we were doing a track for this album, Swing Cats, which is a special tribute to Elvis, and when we were done, we started fooling around with guitars, and before you knew it, we were playing a bunch of songs, and it came so easy, and that's the best way, isn't it? So, and he wasn't looking to start another group. He said, it's probably a big mistake that I went ahead with this, but when you've got some chemistry, and everybody knows the same songs, and they're good at what they're doing, why waste the opportunity? And they asked, was Slim Jim surprised at your authentic rock and roll roots? A lot of people just know you from Motorhead. And Lemmy said, no, he knew where I was and what I liked. We first hooked up years ago in 1977. The Stray Cats came over to London, so that's where we met up. They happened in England before the States. Yeah, I actually knew that. A lot of stuff in, over in the UK and Britain, stuff like that, was actually more popular there before, even American bands too were usually more popular there, or they had their own version of someone, like, we'll get into that. He actually talks about some of this too, but yeah, so let's see. And he says, you've only done 2 albums since forming. Is it hard to get everybody together? And he said, yes, because, Motorhead is time-consuming. It's all I can do to find the time to do anything else. I don't know when Headcat is going to go into the studio again. There's no plans. Of course, like I said, this is an older interview. We can make another record. Walk the Walk just came out on vinyl, so that might get a bit of sales going. Yes. And let's see. For the 2 Headcat records, how did you decide which songs to cover? And then he said, we just got together and played. That's all. We can play just about anything you know. Name a song, play it, see if the other guys know it. That's what we do in the studio. If you can't remember something, then pick another song. It's pretty easy. And it said, who was the first rockabilly artist to make an impression to you? And Lemmy said, Elvis was the first one I really liked. Then there was Billy Haley, the real one. See, when I was growing up, we got the English versions of all the American songs. So we had Tommy Steele doing Singing the Blues instead of Guy Mitchell. And we got the English version of Bill Haley and people like that. Said, sure, we got the real Elvis, so that was all right. Dionne the Belmonts, we heard them. There was an English artist, Marty Wilde. He covered all their stuff. I liked a lot of them. Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee, Eddie Cochran went out and bought their 45s. Do you remember your first rock and roll show? He said, Bill Fury. When I saw him, I realized that you could get any girl to take her clothes off if you were a rock and roll singer. That was good enough for me. He had a group called the Tornadoes backing him. They were session players. I thought they were pretty run-of-the-mill, actually. Billy had the whole star thing down. He had a silver suit and the whole bit. He was from Liverpool, same as the Beatles. Ballads were his main thing, but he did rock and roll on his B-sides. That's what I liked, the rock stuff. After that, I saw a few others. Gene Vincent was a good one. I liked him more than Bill Fury, and I got to meet him too, so that was good. So that's pretty cool. I love Gene Vincent, man. Anyway, in your opinion, who was the best rockabilly instrumentalist back in the day? And he says, Eddie Cochran. I never got to see him live, but he could play. Him and Buddy Holly, they were the best guitarists. They could get a good raunchy beat going. Back then, you could string a solo together for 20 seconds. You had the advantage over everybody else. And Link Ray was a good one, too. Excuse me. What did you think when rock and roll started getting watered down and went more pop in the early 60s? And Lemmy says, I didn't care really, still don't. Just as long as it's a good song, that's all I ever cared about. The word pop is just shorter for saying popular. Just because something's popular, it can still be good. In fact, if more people are buying it, then you must be doing something right. People look down on stuff that sells, but what do you call that? Downward snobbery, I guess. Pretty base, though. Base. And he's, as a musician, how different is performing with the head cat from Motorhead? He said, it's a lot easier, I'll tell you that. It's less intense. We play covers, so that's easier than writing your own songs and learning them and taking them on stage. These songs have been on stage before. For this gig, I started out playing guitar live, but I'm better at playing bass when I sing, so I went back to that. I play mostly chords on the bass anyway. It's just the three of us on stage now. We used to have a bigger lineup for gigs, but we brought it back to the three. It's tight. And then, you've always had a rather unique vocal style. What do you think Carl Perkins or Buddy Holly would have made of your singing? He says, I couldn't tell you. They did it their way. I do it mine. I can only do it my way, you know. I wasn't born in Oklahoma. So yeah, that is pretty much that. I thought that was really neat. Like I said, I already knew this. I've already listened to the Head Cat before. I really like them, obviously, because I thought it was really cool that, you know... did metal and rockabilly. I mean, hello. And was Slim Jim an original Stray Cat? An original Stray Cat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyway. But yeah, so that's, you know, go check them out. Like I said, I know Lemmy isn't with us anymore, and he's obviously not the vocals anymore, but, you know, check out their older stuff, or check out if you like the new singer, then yeah. So, that does it for this month. Well, actually, I wouldn't say this month because it was still this month when I made the other one. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I'm not going to do these a lot. I'm going to try to do them just once a month. But still, I enjoy doing them. And maybe you learned something. And after I flip my whole laptop over, that sounds great to me. So yeah. Anyways, I hope that y'all enjoyed that. And don't forget to check out my other videos that are like this, and I come out with videos every other Monday. Not every Monday, every other Monday. So yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to keep it rockin'.